Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P on the corner, in the corner boxing. Check it, I'd like to take this time to honor Jack Johnson, who was the first black heavyweight champion. He became the heavyweight champion by defeating Tommy Burns in 1908. According to the New York Times, he also was convicted of violating the Mann Act in 1913. The Mann Act was an act that was supposedly something that was passed in order to stop the spread of prostitution, and you would be convicted of violating this act if you were transporting women across state lines. So they were supposed to be trying to stop the widespread of prostitution across state lines, and but this particular crime that Jack Johnson was convicted of was basically racially motivated, because Jack Johnson was, he had gained wealth. He also was very famous because he was the first black heavyweight champion, but he was very unapologetic about his accomplishments, about his wealth, and he flaunted it, and that was very frowned upon at this time. So he also, in 1910, he beat James J. Jeffries, which to some was called the fight of the century. This happened, like I say, in 1910, and also some people also noted as the fight that made a black man the undisputed heavyweight champion. So this fight was very big, y'all. It also was, a play was written about this particular fight. Also, a movie was made depicting Jack Johnson about this particular fight when he fought James J. Jeffries. It was a real big thing, a very iconic event. And James Earl Jones played Jack Johnson in this particular movie called The Great White Hope. It was a movie that came out in the 70s. They also redid it again. Samuel L. Jackson was in the redo of it. I can't remember exactly when it came out, man. But anyway, the movie that this particular fight was about, The Great White Hope, came out in the 70s. Man, look, Jack Johnson will go down in complete history, and I'm gonna tell you this right here. May the 24th, 2018, our president, none other than Donald Trump, has made sure that Jack Johnson was pardoned for the crime of violating the Mann Act, which he was convicted of in 1913. So, man, look, this is right now in our time, especially at this time, man, we getting a lot of good boxing right here in 2018. This is really a very iconic event for this time, for this year, 2018. We've been getting a lot of good boxing. This is really a boxing hotbed right now. This is really a big thing for black history and American history, period, that Jack Johnson has been pardoned for this racially motivated conviction. And hey, Donald Trump did it. Gotta shout him out. So check it. I'd like to shout out everybody who had anything to do with this, that I know of, that had anything to do with this ceremony. The ceremony for the pardon of Jack Johnson. His niece was in attendance, Miss Haywood. Also, I'd like to shout out the WBC President Mauricio Suliman. He was in attendance and also made sure that there was a WBC Championship belt, in the honor of the first black heavyweight, and for this ceremony. So I want to shout him out. I want to shout out Sylvester Stallone, who brought this to the president's attention. I also want to shout out Deontay Wilder, Lennox Lewis, who, they were in attendance for support. So I just want to shout all these people out, man. This is a real big day for boxing history. It's a real big day for black history and for American history, all together. Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion, being pardoned for this racially motivated crime. And I just like to say also, according to CBS Sports, Jack Johnson won 73 fights, and 40 of those fights were won by knockout. Also, he was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame back in 1954. And hey, man, look, like I say, this is historical props honoring Jack Johnson. He was born in 1878. He died in 1946. And I just want to honor Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight. This Daddy P on the corner, in the corner boxing, honoring, you know what I'm saying, the people that went before us in boxing. And man, this guy even transcended the sport of boxing, man. You know, this is very iconic. Jack Johnson stood at 6'1.5". He had a 74-inch reach. And I just want to honor the guy. This Daddy P out of there.